Alright, so we're just getting set up on Periscope. And that is all set. So let's begin. Again, we're going to recap what today's schedule is. We want to break the Walking Dead 4-box draft break tonight. Alright, so let's take a look at what boxes are in there.
Marcel, do we have the movie The Tooth Fairy?
No, we don't.
We don't have that movie.
So we got Walking Dead Evolution, which covers seasons 1 through 7. We got a season 8 tops box. And we also have season 4 boxes, parts 1 and 2 from Cryptozoic. No, they're not watching Grandma's Boy. So those are the 4 boxes that are available in the Walking Dead draft break. Basically, the way it's going to work is there's 16 spots. Alright. We will run it at 12 if we have to. So I only need 5 more spots. It's $22 for 1, or you can get 2 for $39. And the breakdown is this. It's a draft style break, so the list will get randomized. You can pick between the options of either a hit card,
How about the Shaggy Dog?
all inserts and parallels out of one of the boxes, or all base cards out of one of the boxes. And again, we've pulled some crazy stuff in the past before, 1-of-1 triple autos and major characters. We pulled the 1-of-1 Carl Grimes out of, I don't remember if that was Evolution or if that was the set before that one that covered 1 through 6. So the goal is that we'll talk a little bit about Walking Dead and our other main topics for tonight. So if we have any interaction on this, that would be awesome. If you cannot make a comment, the way that the software I have works is you have to have friend requested me in order to make a comment, I think. So you can either do that, or you can check us out on Periscope, which is the streaming accompaniment for Twitter. And you can check us out there and comment on there as well. So again, we're going to be broadcasting on Periscope and YouTube in general from here on in. Check us out on Periscope. So we got a few things that we can talk about for Walking Dead here. I'm going to shrink this down a little bit. And I think there's 4 real hot topics that I saw coming from the internet. So if you guys have any hot topics yourself that you want to talk about Walking Dead wise, I'll say this. For all the previous Walking Dead breaks that we had done, I hadn't really watched the show. The last one I had already started binge watching, but before that, just kind of would talk about the cards and, you know, maybe say things about the quotes on the cards. But after binge watching hardcore for almost a month, all the way up till we finally on Sunday were watching a show live for the first time and being caught up with it. This season has a lot going on. And I guess the first thing that we can touch upon is there are things that, you know, sometimes in the show they've got to make adjustments from the comic books. Like, from my understanding, Carol in the show is way more badass than Carol in the comic books, at least initially. And And then you have characters who kind of phase themselves out, like Carl dying, all right, and the whole deal with Rick Grimes. Those things aren't actually in the comics, so now they got to make adjustments to storylines and how they're going to do things. And we saw in last week's episode that they really pushed forward about 6 years. And probably the reason being behind that, Daryl doesn't exist at all. He's not even like a minor character they expanded about. See, I'm still learning new stuff about this. So Daryl is a figment of the television imagination, is what you're telling me? That kind of just blew my mind for a second there. Hey Jess, Daryl doesn't exist. Daryl Dixon's not in the comics apparently. He was created for the show.
So then he can't ever die. Maybe he's a figment of your imagination.
I don't know. I don't know. So I'm gonna take your word for it, but that's okay.
You have till 9:30.
So we're both going on hearsay there. So I won't go too much into that. But Judith now is all grown up, and she's about 10 years old, which kind of takes us to where Carl is in a good portion of the comic book story. There was a time jump in this area where they parallel in the comic books, but I think it was a lot shorter. So we can assume probably that Judith is going to assume a lot of Carl's storylines from the comics because they, wrote them out of the show. Yeah, and then now you got talking zombies coming out. So in the comics, there's a group called the Whisperers, and there's a lot of things in the comic that I think can't. There's a few things in the comic that can't happen at all. So I'm not really sure how they're gonna make the adjustments. But I guess there's like an alpha who's the leader. Kind of a smart name there. And then there's another one called Beta, and they're the ones that are the biggest, I guess, influences. And they, I guess, pretty much, just like the governor, just like Negan, they're the new faction to war with. But I don't know. Is that the direction that they're going to go in with this in with the television show? I mean, they've kind of done the battle thing over and over again. That I don't know. Because the kid doesn't seem like he's 6 years old, right? There's still a lot of things on the show that they haven't really answered. And I'm sure through flashbacks and stuff like that, they're going to go through it. And I guess another question is, will they go through these missing 6 years through the show? Or is it something that's going to keep Fear the Walking Dead going when they run out of things to talk about during the actual zombie apocalypse happening? There's a lot of things that we can kind of question until they actually happen. So another thing that is coming up is Maggie not showing up in that episode. Apparently, from what I'm reading, that was when Rick disappeared. That's actually her last episode in season 9. And I'm wondering, and maybe some of the Walking Dead groups can help me out here. Does anybody know if she's leaving the show? Is there some kind of a contract issue? Maybe she wants more money? Or is this like in wrestling when, you write off a wrestler out of the storyline for a while to bring them back in, and they're really just acting in a movie or going on vacation or nursing an injury they don't want to really talk about?
Who's nursing?
Nursing?
What?
You nursing? I thought that was over with.
Long time ago.
Long time? So, I guess that's my question.
You're not allowed to have questions.
I'm not allowed to have questions?
You're
Why?
supposed to be the guy with the answers.
I can be the answer guy about a lot of things, but I'm still learning
About what?
about Walking Dead, and she's apparently acting in a different show.
Who is?
Maggie, the actress, whatever her name is.
Why?
Is it bad? I don't think we pulled a Maggie Green autograph yet.
So what is she doing? She's not filming Walking Dead right now?
What's she filming? Like a winter break show? Like something that's going to debut in January, or a summer show?
She's doing Hallmark Christmas movies.
So she's just taking a break. Lauren Cohen, that's her name.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. So I don't know.
You should keep saying you don't know.
ABC's TGIF was always the feel-good night. I remember that. So it's time we brought it.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, that bridge, that was a point of discussion between me and Jesse like 6 years later. We were talking about during the final episode, like, he blew up the bridge. Was that the right call? Well, I think it was the right call, but I guess she's like, it's going to take him forever to rebuild it. And I'm like, they're not going to be able to rebuild that. Before, it was just missing a piece, and they could reinforce it. But, I mean, they don't have the technology to put that stuff together. So I guess the final point of discussion I have on Walking Dead is, will the Commonwealth make its way into the main storyline?
Who?
The Commonwealth.
What's that?
Now, in the comics, it's a series of connected communities, and
County.
they've come together that's I don't know, that's how we say it now, because that's how Rick Grimes always said it. So they come together, and they're more technologically advanced than a lot of the communities that are out there. And I guess what I'm wondering is, will that make its way into the main storyline? Or are they going to save that for the mini-series of movies that they're going to put out that are going to be, I don't want to say Rick Grimes exclusives, but I guess the story with him is, it wasn't so much, I don't want to do the show anymore, I want more control, I want more money. He just wanted to be with his family more, and being that he's from England,
He's friends with Nigel.
they're going to be doing, I guess, like, I don't know, most likely they're going to be released on television, but I think the possibility would be explored about if they could make more money at it in the movie theaters. Well, they give you that assumption that he's still alive because he makes it. I don't know, they called him a B. Lately he'd been acting like kind of an a-hole, but Rick Grimes.
He's always been an a-hole.
But,
He was like,
well, I mean, that's part of the charm of his character, was that
he's so flawed.
he could be a good leader, but
He made horrible choices.
he made really bad decisions a lot of the time. So, yeah, he is a flawed character. Stan Lee would appreciate The Walking Dead. He probably did.
Carol.
So.
Carol.
Carol, your favorite? Oh, she's one of mine too, I guess. So, Glenn Douglas, you'll take 2 Walking Dead. That puts us at 3 spots away from being able to run this. So we're 3 spots away from being able to run the Walking Dead break. So I guess that's my question. Will the Commonwealth be part of the main storyline, or will that be where Rick's going? So if Rick is getting whisked away by a helicopter to a land far, far away, will that be where Rick's going, the Commonwealth? And could there be the possibility? I mean, I think it was a couple years ago, the AMC team kind of said there could be enough Walking Dead content for 10 years worth of episodes. And that could depend. I mean, I think the whole Whisperers thing was a very long storyline in the comic book, maybe even longer than Negan's influence, right?
What are the Whisperers?
The Whisperers are a group that they actually take the skins of the zombies and like they'll make them like masks and cover themselves like kind of like what they would do in the so that they're safe, but like their intention is anarchy, and they blend right in with the walkers, and it's almost like they're more dangerous than the walkers because they're human and they have a brain. I think an A is healthy. I think B is injured and A is healthy. Again, I don't read the comics, so I don't really know.
I thought one meant leader and one meant follower.
You thought one meant leader and one meant follower? That's an interesting take. But didn't she say that he's a B, but he was somebody that was going to be very useful to them? I think she kind of said he was a leader when she was on the phone. A is leader, B is follower. Okay.
Maybe A is a person who looks out for their own survival, and B is one who looks out for others.
Maybe. A could be.
That's what I'm not in the middle of watching the show.
Okay. Well, you're the one who jumped in. Well, didn't she call the priest an A originally? And there was, other than obviously the vision impairment, nothing really wrong with him. But I can see that. Or somebody, Jess said somebody who looks after themselves and somebody who looks after others. So I don't know if the whole A-B conversation ever comes about in any of the comic book storylines, because, I mean, this is something that's unique to the show. So in a way, you would think, oh, you can read the comics and kind of spoil what's happening next, but you can't, because there is a lot of adjustments that they make. Some are small, some are bigger than others. Oh, okay.
So to reward you, I had a gift. Drug deals going down this afternoon. Large, kind of bust that'll get you going.
Yeah, and who's on the other end of the phone? I'd like to know that too. So, I don't know, if they're just starting filming those now, it'll probably be a good, I would think, year before we find out anything. I think Game of Thrones will have gotten through that before we find out what happens to Rick Grimes.
Lexington is the #1 prescribed brand for bipolar
But they don't have to film a whole season, so. So again, these 4 boxes are the from Umbrella, yeah. Yeah, we sometimes make comparisons to the Resident Evil movies. I gotta admit though, I haven't seen the last. I don't know whether it's 2 or 3. There was one that it was just like so short and explained so little. Kind of didn't watch them after that, but.
I Am Legend.
Well, yeah, I remembered I Am Legend sucked. My favorite part of that movie was. But
The scene I made.
The most memorable part of the movie was the scene you made in the movie theater when he had to kill the dog. So, any other topics on Walking Dead that anybody wants to bring up? Otherwise, we'll move into our next topic of conversation, and that'll be Week 11 football. So we're still trying to get 3 spots for Walking Dead. It's $22 for 1 spot to get in, 2 for $39. Again, the assortment of boxes that are showing up on the screen here, that's what we're looking to move. Choices will be from a hit card, or all the inserts and parallels out of one of the boxes, or all the base cards out of one of the boxes. And with the Cryptozoic, and we saw that the last time we broke some, it's not uncommon for some of them to have a 3rd hit. So we did see, actually the last 2 boxes that we broke were in a break that we did, and both of them had an extra hit. Doesn't happen every time, but on occasion you do get a bonus, and when that happens, usually also means we see at least 1 autograph coming out of the box. So hopefully we can get a balance between autos and relics, and if we're lucky we'll pull 4. Might be a little while before we see a survival box, but if we can maybe get a couple breaks in without them, I'll try to get some more back in so that we can bring in all those autos. My only concern with the survival boxes is I think the expiration date has finally come on some of the redemptions in there. And we've pulled a few really nice ones in the past. Dual autos and regular autos, so hopefully that doesn't become an issue, but we always figure something out. So 3 more spots needed, $22 for 1, or 2 for $39. So moving on to our next topic of discussion, we're going to talk a little foosball. And I didn't really have all the pictures that I had wanted to get for this, so I'm just going to put Drew Brees up there, and he's going to resemble our football conversation here. We're not going to go into too much detail because this isn't the only time we're going to talk about football this week, and we did cover it very extensively what happened in Week 10. But we are going to go over just a little bit of a preview of what we're going to see starting tomorrow. And let me just say this. A lot of the games up on the schedule this week, they're going to be exciting. And there's a very good reason why. These are the teams that are all on a bye right now. All right, Week 11 buys. You got the Patriots. Then who wants to see them? All right, so the Patriots are the one team maybe a lot of people really want to see because they're the only team with a winning record. Everybody else on bye this week, not so exciting to watch. Here's a good question. Why do redemptions expire that has never been made? Well, they have been made. The cards are printed out. So what happens with the redemption? The card's printed out. They have a contract in place for the signing. Okay? Whether they're signing specific things or whether they're signing stickers. Usually there's some kind of detail in the contracts with the talent or athletes or whoever's signing. But they can't always get those signatures before the release date. And sometimes if they really can't get a lot of them before the release date, which seems to be an issue with them with the WWE sets this year, then they just push the set back. Especially if it's set that they want on-card autos and stuff like that for. But they'll get those things fulfilled. Sometimes they'll get it shortly before it even releases, and you get your redemption close to right away. Sometimes a little bit after, and sometimes certain individuals only sign every so often. All right, like I'm going to give an example here. I think Willie Mays only signs twice a year. So, or Hank Aaron, or who, you know, like Hank Aaron is who I was thinking of. Hank Aaron only signs twice a year. Okay? So, you gotta get him in January, but you want to put him in releases in July. Well, you just put a redemption card, you know? Unless he passes away, which, you know, unfortunately, you know, especially with some of the older signers, the health is something that you gotta wonder. He's gonna fulfill his obligation more likely than not. So that's why they put the redemption card in there. And if they can't fulfill the redemption, then what they end up doing is offer you a replacement of equal value. Who do I start in fantasy, John Brown or Cortland Sutton? That is an interesting one. Yeah, well, it's convenience. The sticker sheets are convenience. Let me just look at something real quick. Alright, I'll bring up my opinion on John Brown and Cortland Sutton in their respective games. Or in one of the games. How's that sound? So I'll bring that up in a few minutes. So tomorrow night we got two teams, Green Bay and Seattle. Both of these teams underperforming. Great, my comments are gone for Facebook. Let me just see if I can't get them back. Okay, they're back now. Both of these teams have kind of underperformed at or just below 500. But this should be an exciting game. This isn't two bad teams. This is two teams that just haven't done as well as they should. You got Aaron Rodgers versus Russell Wilson. So you got two headline quarterbacks playing. You know, there's some exciting receivers, exciting backs between the two teams. Even though Green Bay traded away Clinton Dix, it's not like they were giving up like the Raiders did. They have a guy who they feel was good enough to replace him right now, and they could get something for him before he went away to free agency. So I think this one's going to be tight, and I think it's going to be one that's going to be exciting to watch, much unlike Monday night's game. I guess that was kind of exciting to watch, but not really. I'm probably biased because I didn't want the Giants to win. But Sunday afternoon, you got Dallas versus the Falcons. Cowboys need to keep up with the Skins if they want any chance of making the playoffs. And the Falcons need to recover from the skid mark that the Browns left them. One thing that could be good news for the Falcons, though, is they're going to have some help coming off of injured reserve. Looks like they're going to activate Deion Jones, and maybe he can play this week. Carolina versus Detroit. Let me tell you, Detroit's not in a happy place in their schedule. They're getting some tough matchups. And I think Carolina will be looking to save face after the whooping that they took last week from the Steelers. So I would not want to be the Detroit Lions right now, because I have a feeling Carolina is going to give back some of what they took last week. Oh yeah, we'll talk about that one in a minute. They didn't just steal his locker, they divvied it up. Tennessee versus the Colts. Will the Titans be taking a letdown loss after beating New England last week? Or will the Colts start to slide back into the cellar as they squeaked out a win against the Jaguars in the battle of the worst in their division last week? I have a feeling that they could be getting a little bit closer to that. But you never know. Again, you get such a huge win like that over a team like New England, you get a little complacent, and they could lose that one. So they got to watch out. How about the Buccaneers versus the Giants? Mac is a good running back, that's for sure. I think he was a little quiet this week, though, wasn't he? I don't remember. I don't have him really on any. He wasn't on my radar for fantasy. So I liked him, but just not enough to draft him. Giants versus the Buccaneers. So the Giants traded away Jason Pierre-Paul for a bag of magic beans. I thought the trade was stupid when it happened. I don't like it any more now than I did then. Jason Pierre-Paul in 9 games has 8 sacks. The entire New York Giants team has 10. Alright, Eli Manning isn't the only reason why the Giants aren't winning, but Eli still sucks. Now, Tampa Bay quarterback situation's a little unsettled. Is Fitzpatrick starting because he's the better choice? Or is he starting to really motivate Winston and get him out of... he is just mostly ineffective since coming off a suspension. I think he had one good game the first game he came back, and then it's been kind of all downhill from there. So maybe starting Fitzpatrick is their last hope at salvaging the season. Or maybe they still believe in Winston and they want to light a fire under his rear end. Can't really do that to Eli. You got one quarterback with some promise, but I think his legal issues make him a little bit of a sensitive topic in New York that they don't want to bring out. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if he could potentially face any jail time for what he did. I don't remember how the charges were put, but he basically put a police officer's life in danger trying to blow through a traffic stop or getting pulled over or whatever. So That's going to hurt his chances of getting in there. And that week he was expected to take a lot more snaps than normal in practice, so he blew it. And then their third stringer is like, just so they have a warm body in case Eli ever got hurt. And that's pretty much what you got there. So there's nothing really motivating Eli to do any better, but there really hasn't been in like the last 5 years. So yes, the Giants traded away Eli Apple, and that trade I was more than happy with. Because again, a lot of the things that I talk about when I'm talking about, you know, what I don't like about the Giants, it's the whole locker room attitude, and Eli Apple was kind of a basket case right from the beginning. I don't know if anybody remembers like the videos on social media, his mama getting involved. So, you know, that's not a good environment for him. I'm not saying Eli Apple's necessarily a waste of a player, but the Giants, they need leadership and they need sanity. And neither of those was coming from Eli Apple. So I don't know how he's doing now, or if it's too soon to tell the damage that he could do in another locker room. But I'm kind of glad he's gone. I didn't really have a lot to say about Houston versus Washington. You got, again, Texans, 7x Buckeyes. And to think it's not Cleveland or Cincinnati. Huh. So, Houston versus Washington. I mean, Alex Smith just wins. It's just the way it works. And they let him do it. You know? He's better than Tim Tebow was at quarterback. But he's, you know, it's not like he's amazing. He just wins. Is his mama still around? I kind of stopped ignoring that story for a while, but his mama coming to New Orleans with him? It's going to be like retired from the NFL and living in his mom's basement. So, I don't know. I mean, Houston's a very capable team. They got a capable quarterback. They've got a lot of key components. So, you know, it's possible Washington could take the loss. Washington could take the loss, and, you know, that makes it that much more critical for the Cowboys. Pittsburgh versus Jacksonville. So Le'Veon Bell did not sign his franchise tender. And they wasted no time in taking the nameplate off of his locker and giving out all his stuff. One of his teammates, I think, tweeted a thank you for the Nike cleats in his locker and was shown wearing them or something like that. So, yeah, I don't know how he's going to expect to be welcomed with open arms in a locker room when his teammates just can't stand him that much. He had to have done something in order to get all this hate from his own teammates. But the good news is it looks like Connor was able to practice today. He's still under the concussion protocol, but I mean, we're like a little bit more than halfway through the season. And even though the Steelers don't have Le'Veon Bell, Connor has rushed for 771 yards and scored 10 rushing touchdowns. And on top of it, 387 passing yards with 1 receiving touchdown. So you're talking about 1,150 yards from scrimmage, 11 scores. They don't miss him. Again, not going to franchise him because the amount of money that they would have to pay him for the 1 year, only for him to sit out again, because I really don't think he'd be able to swallow his pride. It would be a joke. It would be, and it would just be a media distraction. So they're not going to do that. But they could put the transition tag if they think keeping him could be cheaper than the 5 years, $70 million that they offered him the year before. If the best offer that he gets is like 3 years at $40 million, or even 3 years at $35 million, they may be like, all right, he's a headache, but he's our headache, and they'll match, and maybe they'll match the offer. I don't know if it was luck. Look, Hines Ward, and then boom, Antonio Brown steps up, and now you got a solid Juju Smith-Schuster ready to take on the role when he leaves. All right. Now their running back luck hasn't been as good, but I think they got what they need figured out. I think the main issue is going to come when Roethlisberger is not able to do the magical things that guys like Drew Brees do, and when he starts looking more like Eli Manning. I don't know if that day will necessarily come. Maybe he'll retire before he looks as bad as Eli Manning does. But I think that's something that could be an issue here in the future. But Mason Rudolph, again, could be the guy who's ready to take over next. And they didn't waste a big draft pick on him. And obviously Roethlisberger's not going to be grooming the kid. No, that was made crystal clear that wasn't going to happen. But, never know. He's still going to pick things up. He's still going to learn things. They're still teammates. And maybe there will come a time, whether it's a year from now or 2 years from now, says, you know what, I got to be a good teammate now. I'm not going to be able to deliver, and he might be able to. So, time's only going to tell with that. All right, so here we go. Your fantasy question, would I go John Brown or would I go Cortland Sutton? Either way, you're taking chances. Denver is going to be in a high-profile game playing the Chargers. We'll talk about that in a minute. Baltimore is going to be without Joe Flacco, very possibly. There's a lot of serious talk that Lamar Jackson could be making his first start this week. And I think he's going to be a good player overall. You never know what that first one's going to look like. It's going to be a gamble either way. I don't think either one's a better choice than the other. I would honestly call that one a wash. Flip a coin. Because the big question mark is, who is Lamar Jackson going to have chemistry with if he ends up playing? And if Flacco ends up playing, is he going to be 100%? I guess he's got like a hip injury or something like that. And it could be one of those things where maybe they don't want to give him carte blanche if Lamar Jackson ends up starting, and they use their running backs a lot. So that's been something that's stifled a lot of rookie quarterbacks in the past. The team doesn't let them do anything, especially when they're on the Jets. But at least Darnold looks like he's got his stuff together. So I don't know. Oakland Raiders versus Arizona Cardinals. This is Rosen's time to shine. This is the last thing that California would need, is to have to suffer this game. Thank goodness it's a home game for the Cardinals. If Josh Rosen is going to, and I'm especially talking about this from a hobby standpoint, if Josh Rosen is going to get any excitement attached to his name for the rest of this year, he is going to have to pick apart the Raiders. And I don't mean like squeaking by. I don't mean like David Johnson running for 3 touchdowns. I mean Rosen is going to have like a 70% completion percentage. He's going to have to throw at least 35 passes, throw for over 350 yards and 3 touchdowns, if anybody's going to think he's going to be worth a grain of salt the rest of this season. He's got a lot of potential. Alright, you're not going to show it all at once, especially not everybody is right from the get-go MVP caliber quarterback. Alright, Patrick Mahomes has shown it. You got Deshaun Watson showed it. Now, 2016, Jared Goff did it. And he was one that, his stuff bottomed out as far as card market goes. And we had, I had a bunch of his cards. And I held on. I'm like, there's a lot more potential with this guy, and he doesn't have all the pieces working in front of him that he needs yet. And I'm glad I did that. Eventually got rid of his stuff a little bit better than what it bottomed out to. So, again, this is if Rosen doesn't want everybody to lose confidence in him, and he bottom out by the end of the season, he is going to have a monster game. He's got Larry Fitzgerald, who, bless him, is still giving a big effort. You got Christian Kirk. And David Johnson can catch passes too, because he did it the other day. So he's got to go out there. Again, 70% completion percentage was at least 35 passes, which means the Cardinals got to let him go too. I think they will. I think that's more likely than some of the other things out there. All right. And he's got to have big numbers. And if he throws for 3 touchdowns, he better have 1 interception or less. So 1 or 0. That's what I want to say from him. Denver versus the Chargers. I'm one of those guys, a good defense beats a good offense. Of course, the Chargers are playing pretty good right now. And Derwin James is looking like he's a player. Denver not being at home. I think this one's close. And I think Denver might squeak out the upset. Is it an upset? I don't know. I don't know what Vegas says. I would call it an upset. I think they squeaked that one out. Now, this guy right here. Oh, wait, hold on. This guy right here. Philadelphia versus New Orleans. I'm just going to say this. Breeze, at home, Eagles in trouble. Enough said. And Sunday night is going to be the defining game for the playoff push for 2 teams. I think this game will be the deciding factor whether we're going to see Minnesota or the Bears in the playoffs this year. So this again, we talk about quarterbacks like Josh Rosen who need to show a little something. Well, we've seen a little something from Mitchell Trubisky. All right? This is where he is going to have to graduate from a guy who still gets looked at as a rookie to a guy who gets looked at as a veteran. This is his growing up party. All right? He wins this game, there's going to be a lot more people confident in him. I think a lot of Bears fans are confident in him and that he was the right move. I think there's a lot of other people who aren't. And I think that can be said by looking at the value of Trubisky rookies compared to some of the other guys out there within the last few years, quarterback class-wise. I think Trubisky's a little underrated a little bit. And it doesn't transcribe into fantasy numbers, and so many of us are into fantasy. Fantasy is a huge thing with football as compared to baseball. All right? I mean, football probably has more fantasy dollars going into it than baseball, basketball, and hockey combined. I'm just guessing that. Maybe not necessarily dollars because there's a lot more games going around, but per game. We'll say per game. How's that sound? It could be overall. I don't know. So his numbers don't always transcribe into fantasy numbers, but you watch him on the field, and this is why I think Bears fans are more confident in him than maybe the rest of the general football watching population, is that not everything that he does can get transcribed into a number. I don't know if that makes... Does that sound fair in that? I don't watch enough Bears games either, so you tell me. And then Viva la Mexico. Like to thank Shakira for bringing what could be the game of the year. This game may be better than any game out there, unless they face each other in the playoffs. Kansas City versus the Rams. Go back in time 4 years ago and say that. That game would have been a Thursday night special. So due to field conditions, they're bringing the game to Los Angeles. All right, first responders to the mass shooting and to those who have helped with the fires. They're going to be giving them a lot of tickets to this one. They're gonna give, I think season ticket holders get a window to buy their tickets first, and then they'll put the tickets on sale in general. But they're looking on short notice to fill that stadium up, and they will be giving some tickets away. So that's an awesome thing that they're doing there. And I mean, how do you pick a winner in this one? I think personally, this game is going to be either a shootout where both teams score a lot of points, or it's going to be a blowout where one team maybe succumbs to the pressure of this matchup. I don't think there's going to be an in-between. I don't think it's going to be like, one team's going to win by 2 touchdowns, but it's going to be scored late, so it's going to be, back and forth the whole time. And I don't think it's going to be a low-scoring game. At least one of those teams should be able to top 40 points, if not both of them. And that's nothing against their defenses. I just think that both teams, if they both show up and are motivated, they're going to find the way. Kareem Hunt, Todd Gurley, probably both going to have 100-yard rushing days. I think both quarterbacks can throw for over 300 yards. And we're going to see a lot of touchdowns. So again, we're three spots away from filling up Walking Dead. Not even filling it up, breaking it. I set the bar low for this one. So Walking Dead, it is a 4-box break. It's only $22 for a spot in this one. $22 for a spot in the Walking Dead break. Draft style. And there is another break that we have that we could also mess around with, and that is our 3-box basketball break. So we got Optic Fast Break, Crown Royale, and Noir. And I want to see that go so badly. It's $129 for a random division in that one. Alright? I got 2 spots of the 6 filled now. If I get one more spot, we'll break it tonight. So Walking Dead needs 3 spots. Basketball needs 1. I've been on a hot streak with basketball. I'm going to admit, I am too chicken to open up a box of Noir for myself. But I'll go halvesies on this break. Alright, we're talking about one of the upper echelon products. Alright, I got immaculate basketball boxes sitting here, and I'd like to see a similar break go on with one of those. But if we don't see this one break first, then we don't have any exciting cards to talk about basketball-wise, because we don't break them too often. I'd also like to do a cheap basketball break, random team case break of something like Status from last year. You can pull a big SIG for a cheap price and get a stack of rookie cards on what I feel is an undervalued set. Or we have a random team up right now that's a 2-box break, and it's got Elements and Spectra in it. It's $15 for one team, 3 for $40. That was a long ways away from happening, but I think we can make this one work. Alright, so we got one more topic to talk about. Again, Walking Dead. I'd love to see that go tonight. So let's see what we can do. Alright, one more point of discussion here. Man, not one comment on Periscope again. Come on, Periscope. Anyways, so last topic of conversation here, and we're going to talk some baseball. Alright, for Friday night breaks, we got 2 things that we're hoping to get going. One is a case break of 5-star. There is a lot of cool possibilities in that. Dying to see what's in there. Again, nice, lower. That's not really high end, but I guess it's a mid-tier set. But it's a fun one. And we have a good history of getting some crazy signatures in that. And, the way that they do that set, too, is I think there's like 4 special things in each case. Kind of like we've seen similarly structured with, like, Inception to a lesser degree.
You confided in her.
So, Mark-Down of the day. Yeah. I've been forgetting about that since I haven't been putting it on the update post. Mark-Down of the day.
I will choose this baby over anybody because that is what decent parents do. But your mother,
I'll do this.
I'm sorry that you did it.
The TriStar baseballs that we did the other night
But you are not.
in the baseball break. $55 a piece. So when you factor in shipping, I'm pretty much giving them out at cost. Alright, regular price is $62. I got some Series 10 TriStar baseballs. $55 a piece. That's our Mark-Down of the day. How's that sound?
I heard given the timing and your reaction. But babies happen when you have sex, and you and I tend to do a lot of that.
So, Cy Young Award voting. Let's start with the American League, because that's the one that got announced first. Saw kind of a little bit of a difference in the way that the voting mentality was in that.
I'm angry with you, Christian. You left me. You left me when I needed you.
So, we know who the finalists were. Let's go over the other vote getters. So, in fourth was Chris Sale, who, with a injury-shortened season, still garnered 59 points. No first-place votes, not a shock there. But he did get a couple second-place votes, and a lot of third- and fourth-place votes smattered about in there. So, despite the shortened season, Chris Sale still got some RESPCT. Garrett Cole, who might have deserved a little bit higher bump in this vote. Again, Chris Sale did have a short season. Got 26 points. Trevor Bauer for the Indians and Blake Treinen for the A's, 13 votes apiece. Edwin Diaz got some fifth-place votes. And Luis Severino got a sympathy vote. Come on. Really? They gave him a fifth-place vote? Don't get me wrong. He was the Cy Young Award winner of the first half of the year. But his numbers in the second half after the All-Star break were terrible. How did he get a vote?
What's going on?
Some homer from New York, probably.
I was at work and I'm so busy. Can I call you back?
So third place ended up going to Corey Kluber. The third and fourth place votes that Sale didn't get, a lot of them went to Kluber.
Talk later.
Had about 4 second place votes. And this race was close. And despite not having as much of a workload, alright, he was definitely not an innings horse. In the time that he was out there, he was absolutely dominant. And Blake Snell wins his first Cy Young Award with 17 first-place votes, 169 points in total, edging out Verlander in the closest race so far by 15 points. So really just, a few voters changing their mind either way would have swung it. So Verlander only had 13 first-place votes. And Kluber took some of the third-place votes that he probably could have used. Yo, what's going on? So right there, this is, I think the bottom line is in the American League race, wins mattered. He may have not been out there for a long time, but he was the winning pitcher most of the time. Which is a complete turnaround. Awesome. Jump in. We need 3 more in order to run it tonight. It's 22 for one spot, 2 for 39. So there's We need 3. There's 7 left. But I don't know. I've taken a liking to Walking Dead. I'm willing to bite the bullet on 4 spots in order for that to run tonight. So if you grab 2, I'm sure somebody will grab 1 if you grab 2. Somebody out there is going to be like, yeah, man. And then we'll break some Walking Dead. Some Walking Dead together. And we'll have a good time. Because that's what Rick Grimes would do. If he weren't bleeding profusely in a helicopter in the middle of nowhere. You'll grab 1? Alright, so now we need 2. 2 more spots would get Walking Dead going. So, doesn't matter which spot or a random spot's good. Let me take a look here. Spot 6. Let me see if spot 6 is one of the ones available. It is. I think it is. Hold on. This isn't reset. Pretty sure it is. Yep. Alright, so Lance, I got you down for spot number 6. And we got spot number 11. So spot number 11 is gone. That means we need 1 more. And we'll be able to get some Walking Dead on. Do I hear 1 more? So, first of all, let's talk about the pretenders in the National League race. Kyle Freeland got the majority of the 4th place votes, and that's where he finished. Got a decent chunk of 5th place votes, too. So, with 49 points, Rockies starter Kyle Freeland finishes 4th. Patrick Corbin, alright, maybe he finished 5th in the race at 23 points. But he'll be laughing all the way to the bank. If we get that 1 more spot, I'm already taking 4. We have 5 spots available, but we need 1 to run it. So if you want to take more, if somebody wants to take 2, that's still fine, because the minimum that we need to run it is 12. It's a 16 spot break. There's 8 hits expected. Again, if there are some 1 or 2 extras that come out of the Cryptozoic boxes, it just snakes from the bottom, which sometimes makes the bottom spot a little more coveted than some of the ones close by it. So 1 spot needed for Walking Dead. There are 5 still available. $22 for 1, 2 for $39. But Patrick Corbin's going to be taking those 23 points and laughing all the way to the bank, because he's probably going to be one of the pitchers that's going to get paid this offseason. Miles Mikolas, the St. Louis rookie, got 13 points. Josh Hader got 4 points. And let me tell you, I think he should have gotten some more. Especially the way the Brewers run their bullpen. Alright, he went out there and he would sometimes pitch an inning and 2/3 and he would strike out 5. So when you look at the American League race and Edwin Diaz getting 4 points, and then at the National League race and Hader getting 4 points, it's a moot point. He's not going to win the Cy Young Award. But I think he deserved a little bit more credit than what he got. Mike Fultinovich got a few votes. Actually 2 votes, but 3 points. And John Lester got a 4th place vote for 2 points. Now, I hate to say this, but I was torn. I'll give you an update on Leaf memorabilia in just a minute. We're almost done with this topic, so I just want to run that through so that we can maybe get that last Walking Dead break spot filled. I liked Aaron Nola's performance this year. He got the majority of the third place votes. He had 27 out of the 33rd place votes. I think the way that the season went for the Phillies, if it wasn't just individual achievements and value to the team, I would have weighted a little bit more towards Nola. But he ended up in third. 29 of the 30 second place votes went to Max Scherzer of the Nationals. Which makes your National League Cy Young Award winner somebody who, where the previous lowest victory total for a Cy Young Award winner was 13. What was that? Felix Hernandez and Fernando Valenzuela. That might have been I don't remember whether was that a strike shortened season, or was that just because he was a rookie and he was called up during the year? Thanks, Donnie. I can't remember, but 13 wins was the original floor for a Cy Young Award winner. But when you look at his statistics, wins don't necessarily mean a thing. When you look at what this guy's done, he was the only guy, in the American League, I think 2 guys had sub 2 ERAs. I think Snell and Verlander did, if I'm not mistaken. But Jacob deGrom was just that much better than everybody else. Yeah, Max Scherzer had more innings. All right. He also had more run support. Okay. Yeah, Max Scherzer had more strikeouts. All right. But Jacob deGrom didn't do too shabby in that category either. I think he had almost 270. If the Mets did not have Jacob deGrom, they would have probably been very close to unwatchable for just about all of the season. They started out of the gate good. But, the usual stuff for them, injuries and all that. He had a special year, and he's kind of stepped out of the shadow of Syndergaard. Syndergaard missing some time this season. When he made his debut, that's why I picked that card, on May 15th, 2014, there wasn't really a lot of hype. Jacob deGrom was not a household name. He did not have a billion rookie cards, all right? You know who had more rookie cards at that point in time, or first Bowman cards or whatever? Was Mark Appel. See how well that went. So Jacob deGrom flew under the radar, and he came in, and he's been lights out ever since. Kind of like Matt Harvey was until he wasn't. So let's go Mets. Jacob deGrom, Cy Young Award winner. All right, so going to give you a little update on the Leaf vault situation. We still haven't gotten the piece in yet, so we're just waiting for that. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, it shows up tomorrow, because I'm running into a conundrum here where we have another one that I want to break, and I want to break it on Friday night. Those arrived today, because those aren't coming from Leaf, those are coming from my distributor. And for those of you who have watched those in the past, all right, when I say I got a heavy in, that means that there's something larger and heavier than normal inside the box. So one of the 2 cases I got in is a heavy. So sometimes it's a full-size helmet, sometimes it's a bat. There's going to be something really cool in one of those boxes, because usually the heavy stuff in there, they don't put something heavy in there if it's not worth getting. Some of the examples of heavier items that we've gotten in the past: full-size Emmitt Smith helmet, Frank Thomas autograph bats. We actually had a couple of those last year. That's because we do usually have quite a few vaults. So it's $125 a spot, or 2 for $235 for the Leaf memorabilia vault. And I got a heavy, so let's get that filled up. Again, we need 18 out of 20 in order to run that. And unfortunately, we had a case that was an item short, and it's never happened to us before. I've never heard of there being an item short before either. So it was just a mistake. It took them a few days to get back. It's a business. It's understandable. I'm not the only thing on their docket, and then they're gonna mail it. I don't think expecting it to be overnighted is again, it's just one thing, and they got a bunch of things to deal with. So I'm guessing they sent it UPS or FedEx, and it's gonna take 2 to 3 days. They sent it out on Monday. So unfortunately, holding up that draft, and based on the feedback I got back, people wanted it held up because they want to see what the last item is. So I only had one person say, don't worry about it, just send me what I picked. So I'm really hoping that comes in tomorrow so we can really push that for Friday. But if anybody is interested in the Leaf memorabilia vault, and that is not just sports, we've gotten presidential signatures, we've gotten lots of cool, things from the world of acting and movies and TV and all that good stuff. Music. Okay, lots of cool things come out of Leaf Vault. And I got a heavy one in. So just file that. So we still need one more spot for Walking Dead. Right there. Right there. Spot 13. Alright, let's do this. If anybody didn't realize, because it really doesn't seem to be a post that's getting any traction, we did post 2 football breaks up today. One is just a little 2-box divisional break, and the other one is a 7-box mixer with 3 boxes of Certified, a box of Majestic, a box of Leaf Trinity, a box of 2017 Vertex, and a TriStar autograph football jersey. So if you didn't see it, it's up there. Alright, so Lance is getting spot number 13, so let me put my my PayPal info in here. If anybody else wants to jump in, there are still 4 spots available. I'm going to get in contact with a video person very soon. So let's get payments in and get this one ripping, so that way we won't be too long. So I'm just going to put in the post. And if anybody wants to jump in, just let me know, as we are going to be starting this as soon as possible. So, while I got some people in here, what do you guys think of the new format? So we kind of, instead of me coming on doing a little spiel and coming off like a commercial, you still get the stuff that you watch for every night as far as the discussion points. And if we're on long enough, so far, 3 out of 3 days, we've had our main headline break fill. I know that 3-box basketball break is still floating there, but obviously Triple Threats was the main break for that night. So I would say so far, 3 out of 3 days, this has been a success. And hopefully, you know, we build on this, and we, instead of this being like your regularly unscheduled programming, we got people watching, waiting in the wings, expecting something to break, and then we rock it. And we've been on a little bit earlier too, so I think that helps.
Do you remember these people? Do you know these kids?
Dancing Hooter Girls. Got a few minutes? No.
Because your parents adopted you and wanted you.
Thanks, Lance. Alright, so I'm going to try to get a video person on this. I won't do it myself because I'm in it. So, but I'm just going to get a post set up in the group. If anybody wants me to add their name to the list,
You are nothing.
just let me know.
You were given a life of advantages. Yes. Look what you made of it.
So, Walking Dead.
And you treat people well.
Again, in the group is where the video gets run because, again, Facebook is a giant mess and it won't let us get the videos run on the main page. So if you're not in the group,
You'd be perfect.
join. The more the merrier. Yeah, we randomized the list for the draft first. Now, if somebody says, I'll get you in 20 minutes, we can actually technically start the break because it doesn't really change anything. But
It seems that they've found where you're
I just got to confirm that we got somebody before we get the ball rolling, so to speak. So, the spots that we have available until the video is run, so even if I don't get your name down in time, but you get in before the video person says they're live, alright, you can still jump in and take one of the spots I just put my name on. But those spots are spot 1, spot 3, spot 9, and spot 16. Alright, so 3, 9, and the bookends are still available. So let me see if I got... Tried to get a video person for something earlier and that didn't happen. So let's see who's available. I got one that's active, but he also breaks, so... And I know this person was on earlier too. So again, I'm just waiting for a video person. Walking Dead is breaking as soon as we have a video person confirmed. Alright? Tomorrow is a wrestling break. You want Eugene's auto? Okay. The nerd. Hey, when there's a zombie apocalypse, nerds are very valuable. I'm sure he's rolling his D20, making decisions all the time. So. Alright, so I've just messaged 3 video people, and we'll see who gets first. So I'll give it 3 minutes waiting for a response from somebody. So real quick, tomorrow, the break that we're hoping to run is a 3-box WWE mixer. 2018 Undisputed, 2018 Heritage, and 2018 Women's Division boxes. There's 19 spots in total. Spots being drafted include all the hits, all the Undisputed base parallels and inserts, and then the same split like with The Walking Dead for Heritage and Women's Division. Either the parallels and inserts from one of those boxes or the base from one of those boxes. It's $24 for a spot, 2 for $44. Again, Undisputed has 10 hits per box, 8 of them autos. Sometimes there's an extra when there's a redemption involved. So that's one definitely that we've seen some exciting stuff come out of. We had a Stephanie McMahon Triple H dual auto to 25 come out of that. Kairi Sane, I think, was a gold to 10, which last year's we had an Asuka to 10, so kind of keeps our tradition going. The next female import that comes in, we get a gold auto. So lots of cool stuff possible in that. And that one, I believe, is only 5 spots away from going. And if we can get that set early in the day, then maybe we can make the push to add something else for the evening.
What do you know about the movie Dances with Wolves?
I've seen it. It was very good. It starred Kevin Costner. It is set in a time period where...
Yeah, it's the 19th century. U.S. cavalry officer. I can read. I just know. Was it good?
Yeah, it was good. It's about 2 hours and 45 minutes, if I remember right.
It's 3 hours and 5 minutes.
3 hours and 5 minutes.
Is there a love story?
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of the old Robin Hood movie he was in.
Is there a love story?
Oh, there's a love story. It's all about a love story. It's always about a girl.
Pretty much.
Unless it's about zombies.
Then it's even still about girls.
It's even still about the girls, that's right. So, alright, I haven't gotten a video response back yet, so let me try 2 other people.
Are you doing a break?
Yeah, I just need a video person, because I have 4 spots, so I can't do the video myself.
I'll videotape you.
It's not how it works.
I'll randomize you.
You'll randomize me? I think that's still considered, yeah. Taboo. Just bear with me a minute. I asked a few guys earlier in the day because I had another video that needed to be run for the Panini points yesterday, and I still haven't gotten an answer back. Alright, 3 new attempts. So, we'll start as soon as I get somebody confirmed. Alright, again, they don't have to actually run the video first because it's not going to change anything. I just want to make sure that by the time we're done, we can start the draft. So. And you'd think with 8 video people that I use fairly frequently, some more than others, I'd have one available right now. Oh, I know. I'm forgetting a go-to guy at this time of night. But he's not active. What else do I got? Alright, give it 2 more minutes. I got my backup. While I'm waiting for the next wave of possible responses, we're going to talk about Friday's breaks real quick. So Friday we have 2 breaks that we're hoping to run. One, again, we just talked about it a couple minutes ago. We have a 2-case Leaf memorabilia vault. 125 for 1 spot, 2 for 235. That is also a draft style break. We have 3 spots taken in that so far, and we need a team. Once we finish the draft for the other one, I think there's a bunch of people who'd want to get in, but I don't know, because it's taken a week to get the stuff back from Leaf so far. The other break is one that's been up for a while. It's actually set up, I think, before the product released. So I'm really hoping we can push this out. It is a 5-star case plus. So 8 boxes of 2018 Topps 5-star. A box of Topps Heritage. 2 Onyx Platinum Elite boxes. That is Onyx's prospect set that has 2 autos per box. And usually a decent lineup. Not quite as mind-blowing as the 17 lineup, but the 2018's got some good stuff too. And then 2018 Onyx game-used batting gloves. Plus there's a skunk bonus, a TriStar Houston Championship baseball will be given to a team that does not get a hit. All cards shipped as always, 10% off 3 or more teams. This is what the lineup is. Diamondbacks are 28, Orioles are 80, White Sox are 50, Nationals 95, Cubbies are 85, Reds are 28, Indians are 60, Rockies are 28, Tigers would be 35, Royals 30, Marlins 28, Mets 75, A's 75, Pirates 35, Padres 25, Mariners 60, Rays 22, Rangers 20, and the Blue Jays 18. Again, Friday night breaks, 5-star and Leaf Vault, 2 that we hope we get on there. Alright, I'm going all the way. I can't think of any more video people. I just messaged one and I'm trying to figure out, do I have another one? Spot 13 for the memorabilia vault. Let's see if that's one of your lucky numbers that's still up there. Yes, it is. So spot 13, so that puts it up to 4 now. And again, we'll whatever's coming from Leaf, we're going to open that on camera. And we'll find out what that is as soon as it gets here. Anyone know any reputable video guys that run verified videos? I just messaged like 8 of them, and they haven't even looked at the comment. If I were a razzer, this would not happen. But we don't do illegal razzes here. Yeah, I'm trying to get a video person. I'm trying to dig deep here and see if there's somebody that I missed.
You're digging deep, yo?
Digging deep.
Alright. I'm wide awake for some reason.
Awesome.
Violence and brief nudity.
That sounds like a good time.
I don't know, maybe if I stay awake long enough.
Oh, you're talking about the movie. Okay.
I do have a treat for you. You know what I don't like is the smell of chapstick. It is an unpleasant odor.
All right. I am digging deeper now. So again, Walking Dead. These 4 boxes on your screen, $22 a spot, 2 for $39.
I sent a message to the video.
Oh, I see that. Just waiting on a video person so that we can run this, and then as soon as the video is run, spots will no longer be available. So that's 22 for 1, 2 for 39. WWE slated for tomorrow, and then we'll see. We got some high expectations. I haven't been pushing these later in the week breaks because, quite frankly, I feel like Facebook the last 5 days has been pretty lousy as far as notifications going out. But we'll see if we can't have something done about that. So Friday we hope to do 5-star and maybe a Leaf Vault. Double case. Saturday I'd like to see that Immaculate Baseball random team case break go on. Alright. And Sunday, Prism NT Collegiate Football double case break. Topics for conversation tomorrow. Again, it helps me out a lot what direction to go with as far as writing my notes for the day. Alright, so we're going to do WWE talk, and there's a lot to talk about. MVP awards coming out tomorrow night. And then the Packers versus the Seahawks. We're going to go into a little bit more detail than we went in today. Again, we won't beat it to death either, but Thursday Night Football. And as we're on tomorrow, the game will be on, so obviously we'll be talking about things in-game as well. Thursday, we're also going to announce something that we're going to do Friday that I don't think any other breaker, at least that I know of, has ever done. So even if you're not into the WWE break, but you want to hear about something different that we have planned. Alright? Again, a lot of this is about interactivity. That's why we've been putting those posts up on Facebook and Twitter about getting your opinions. So Friday, I'm hoping that we do something interesting and it doesn't get out of control. You know it's going to be interesting if there's a risk of it getting out of control, right?
Graphics are so old.
Saturday, we're going to do some product reviews. I'm going to talk about some recent products and opinions on them, and we'll bounce off your opinions on them, and we'll discuss. Sunday, we're going to do some product previews. There's some stuff coming out next week that's going to grab some attention. So we're going to hype up some of the stuff that we're going to see in upcoming breaks. And, ooh, let's see if I got an answer coming.
When were machine guns invented?
When were machine guns invented? I want to say World War I.
Not in 1863.
No.
This must be the Civil War.
I'm talking ball and musket. Maybe shotguns at that point. like shells.
What happened?
Shotgun shells, cannons, things that you gotta shove a ramrod in. That doesn't look good, does it?
I think it's more attractive to watch him wield his sword.
Yeah. I mean, I personally don't want to watch a man wield his sword, but I mean, if that's what gets you going.
Well, those muskets are stupid looking.
Yeah, I guess. Not very effective either. You know, usually I can get a video guy easily, and today's just one of those days. If anybody wants to, it's got to be somebody. I'll recognize the names. I just don't use everybody. Let's see. But not one has gotten back to me. I only got one guy on the West Coast, and I don't know what the situation there is because I know how California is right now. So that's not an option. If it were unanimous, I'd run the video now myself. But it would have to be a unanimous vote because I know there are some who, with me having spots in it, may object. I mean, you see the whole thing in front of you, but still.
So, like, I don't even understand. They just all, like, line up and start shooting each other?
Pretty much, yeah.
That's the stupidest thing ever.
What is it, sir? Looks like a suicide.
Oh, man. See, I don't know any of these people. I might have one of these guys on my friend list. Hold on. Not active.
Man, they can't really shoot or they can't even aim. I guess the timing is slightly off.
What'd you say? I didn't say that.
Oh, I didn't put video will be in comments. Let me do that. So I'm looking through the groups and seeing if there's anybody I recognize at this point. Let's see. I think I know this guy. They all use the same people that I use.
They snuck in behind.
Alright, I found somebody who's active. Let's see if I can get a response back. Again, I apologize for the delay. Unfortunately, can't get a video run if we don't have a break either, so. So again, just waiting on a...
You realize how new cars are in the history of man?
Yes, I do. About 100 years.
Out of all the history of man.
I just got 2 more in now, and then I think I have 6 more that I'm going to get. So, yeah, we have more coming. Let's see. So I guess right now I'll put the question out there. Is there anybody who would object to me running the video so that we can get it run?
I object.
You know, your vote doesn't count.
What?
You heard me. You're not in it.
I'll remember that later.
The strangeness of this life cannot be measured. In trying to produce my own death, I was elevated to the status of a living hero. I was also awarded Cisco, the trusting knight that carried me across the field that day, and on full recovery was given transfer to any station I desired. The bloody slaughter continues in the east as I arrive at Fort Hays, a tiny island of men and materials surrounded by a never-ending sea of prayer.
If this had been 2 hours earlier, I probably wouldn't be having this problem right now. So I guess just give me a comment. Should I run the video now or no? Again, I don't like doing it, but I really don't have anything to gain either. You're fine with it? Alright. Do it? Alright, let me set it up. So, random.org. And then I need 2 of them. First one is the dice roll. And the second one is the list randomizer. So I just gotta get the list. Alright, so let me spin the camera around. And I'll make sure that this is in proper focus. And kind of doing this on the fly here. You know what? I'm also going to cut this off here. That. And we'll take this off for just a second. So I got the whole screen, nothing really blocking it.
See that peasant out there? He calls himself Timmons. He's going to your footsteps and say, find him if you like.
Alright, how's that work? Let's see. So I'm going to put the list here. 1 me, 2 Scott, 3 me, 4 Glenn, 5 James, 6 Lance, 7 and 8 Gail, 9 me, 10 Joseph, 11 Donnie, 12 James, 13 Lance, 14 Glenn, 15 Scott, 16 me. So that's the list. Alright. So first up, dice roll. It's got to be 4 or higher. Alright, that's generally what I tell the video guys to do. So 4 or higher for me. And we're going to roll 12. Yay, 12. Alright, so 12 times we're going to randomize the list. Make sure there's not like a blank spot. Okay. And there's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9, 10, 11, and 12. Oh, James doesn't always make it this time of night. Alright, so this is the way the order looks. It's going to be James McMullen drafting at number 1. Again, we'll do as much of the draft live as possible. Alright, if we're not able to get the whole thing done live, it'll go to a draft post and it'll get resolved hopefully at some point tomorrow. Glenn Douglas, you got the number 2 pick. Joseph Turnbull, you'll have pick number 3. James McMullen, number 4. Gail Anderson, 5. I'm at number 6. Donnie Brow at 7. Lance, you're at 8. I got 9. That one didn't move at all. Scott, 10. I'm 11 and 12. Scott, 13. Glenn, 14. Lance, 15. And Gail, 16. Again, if there are extra hits, they snake down. And now I'm just going to adjust the camera. And we'll put up the Walking Dead icon here for a few minutes. Actually, I'll just shrink it down so it covers that spot there. Alright, so let's see. I just gotta copy and paste this. Alright, so let's get started. Again, Walking Dead 4-box draft break. Ready to begin. And then I'll have 10 video people messaging me in the morning what you need. I only need 1 video done, the one I needed done this morning, but... So here we go. I'm going to copy this live into the stream here. Again, the order where everybody's names came up. Of course, there's a glitch with Facebook that doesn't let me do that, so... Gotta restart the app. There it is. Copy and paste. All right, again, that is the order from top to bottom. All right, so let's do roll call real quick. James McMullen, are you in here? Glenn Douglas, Joseph Turnbull, Gail Anderson. I'm here. Donnie's here. Lance is here. Scott Toth, are you in here? And then I'll message just in case anybody might have left while we were trying to get that straightened out. There is a lot of music and scenery. That's why it's 3 hours and 5 minutes long. Alright, so again, at the very least, we'll have everything opened up. And if James isn't able to make it in, I know he goes, I think he goes to sleep a little bit earlier. I did see him pop in here earlier, but then it'll just go to a draft post, but we'll get to see all the lovely stuff that we have to choose from. Myself included, because I'm in for 4 spots. So let's see, who else do I have to message? I think that's it. Everybody else is here. So let's do this. So we'll do this in semi-chronological order. All right. We're going to start with the Season 4 boxes. Evolution covers Seasons 1 through 7. So there'll be a good mix of things in here, but as far as when the boxes were released, these were done first. Get a garbage bag later, but for now, I'll just put them in there. So we've seen a lot of these cards, so we're not going to go too crazy, but we're still going to make sure that we can figure out. Again, usually there's one parallel per box. Usually it's more the inserts than anything else. And we already got our first hit card here. Okay. Maybe that means we'll get extras. Who knows? So, Season 4, the season that focuses on the prison. That was temporarily home to those in Rick's group. And featured a showdown always getting into fights. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that's familiar. So here we go. First, roughly half of the box. And there we go. So we got Loss. There's Beth Green. So these would be the inserts. Again, we got the insert numbering. And these are the base cards. And we'll keep our eyes out. Usually there's one serial numbered one in a box. So that's the season where Carol Pelletier was banished from the group. Again, obviously she would eventually find her way back. And there's a insert set where if you have the 9 cards in a book together, you can see one big funky cool picture. There's the Governor and Beth Green. And then I want to say this is Terminus. Daryl Dixon. Again, that'd be interesting. If he never was in the comic book. I did not know that. Herschel Green, who sadly was it Scott Wilson passing away last month. The actor who played Herschel Green. We had this discussion before. He died in October. There's Carl with both eyes. And here's hit number 1. So we have a Terminus resident wardrobe swatch here. Okay. So hit number 1 is a Terminus resident relic. And that's going to quickly be followed by hit number 2. And actually the last time we opened this particular box, we had the same thing come out, but it was a foil. So this is a base Dr. S. What is it with them in stereotypes? Both the doctors so far have been from Indian descent. Sunkrish Bala. Nice signature there. He definitely never played football because he knows how to write his name. So, Dr. S, Dr. Bala. Alright. Okay, he's not really a doctor, he just plays one on TV.
Several doctors are white.
Oh, I guess so, the 2 brothers, yeah. But they were never really their doctors. Oh yeah, she didn't last too long either though. Why do the doctors die so often? They're important. They really should be kept safe. So again, 4 boxes of Walking Dead. 2 hits per box is what the expected number is. Sometimes these cryptozoics do pack an extra relic in them. So we'll see what happens with this one, but if it was only once in a blue moon, I wouldn't even bother mentioning it. But look at that. We do have one. So there is an extra relic in this one. Again, all extras snake down the list. So that's a case where the bottom spot ends up getting a little bit of an extra bonus there. So sometimes 'tis better to be in, say, 16th position than in 14th when we do a break with this many spots. Yeah, usually about twice a month I like to do a Walking Dead break. I don't want to beat the product to death either. There is a new Walking Dead that's coming out soon, and we'll probably talk about that a little bit in our previews on Sunday. So here we go. Rick Grimes. Oh, the mistakes he would make. And that's the end of him. End of his term. Tyrese Williams. He wouldn't be around for too long. Sasha stuck around a little bit longer, but he lasted a little while. Carl Grimes. Kill 'em all. Defending the prison. There's Carol. A checklist. Anybody notice the foil card yet? Usually there's one in a box. And Walker Relic. So I'll go through them again real quick. Now this is something that Jesse and I have talked about quite a bit. Why don't the animals get it in the show? Why is it just people that get the virus? Do they explain that on Fear the Walking Dead? Do they talk about the actual mechanics of the virus at all? I don't see any. Doesn't look like we got a parallel. We got an extra relic, so no complaints there. Rather get the extra relic. So you got, this is what your insert stack's going to look like, and this is what the base stack is going to look like. And here we go, Walking Dead Part 2 of Season 4. Put this there. Oh, you got a mold auto. That's cool. Is that to 99 or to 49? We pulled a few bloods out of these breaks in the past. No crypts though, just bloods. Blood's the 1-on-1 parallel. So, again, Cryptozoic had the license all the way through Season 4, and then Topps picked it up. And I believe starting with Season 6 releases, they guaranteed an auto. So in this particular set, to 25, oh cool. In this particular set, it's not guaranteed that you'll get an auto. But we found the majority of the time we do. So last time we opened the Season 4 Part 2 box, we had an auto of Joe. And a relic, I think, of Glenn Rhee. So let's see if we can top that. Good, man. How you doing? Breaking some Walking Dead. But feeling alive and well. I like this one. There's some irony in this hit right here. Alright, so I got 2 hits in my hand. I don't know if lightning will strike twice. But let's go with this half and see what we got. So, man, I miss Glenn. I think I miss Glenn more than Carl. Bob Stuckey. You still miss Carl the most?
Carl's the only one that I cried when he died.
I know. I was kind of surprised you did cry when he died, but I don't know. Sad. I know he was just a kid. But he grew up to be a fine young man. So.
It's been almost 30 days. Still no sign of Captain Corio's command. Communication can only take place if I leave. And I don't want
There's
to leave my clothes.
Maggie, who we won't see
I have decided to ration my goods.
in this season anymore. You miss Abraham the most? I miss his one-liners. But as far as a character, he was a bit of a liability sometimes.
For the past 2 days. There's milky white socks on both feet. If it becomes calm tomorrow, I will begin to do something.
So there's Tara Chambler. There's Abraham Ford right there. Sasha Williams. T-Dog. He wasn't around very long. And a Walker relic. So another Walker relic. This one a little more plain design. The other one has a bit of a pattern to it. And Joe will not be the autograph this time. It's going to be Josh McDermott, who plays Eugene Porter. So mullet with a hit. Eugene. Not too shabby there. And again, that is an on-card auto as well. So there we go. So Joseph, I don't know who's going to end up falling to, but you asked for Eugene, you see him in this break. Now let's see if we can't pick up some other big hits as well. I was surprised the last break that we did, the Rick Grimes relic that we pulled went so low. A lot of times the main character relics will go over the secondary character autographs. So we're going to wrap up the 2 Cryptozoic boxes here. Oh, look at that. Got another relic. So there's another bonus. And this one's a mite bit better than a walker. Now, did you start binge watching it, or did you just stop watching it and you got to catch up now? Because it's getting interesting. I'm definitely, it's almost like the show got kind of a restart this season after Rick Grimes gets written off the show. And they put a little trailer out at the end of that episode. And there's some things in the air, let's put it that way. Be interesting to see what happens Sunday night. Yeah, you know, binge watching it is not too bad, Daniel. When you have to wait week to week, I could see how especially season 7 and 8 might have been a little tough. It's very psychological, you know, man is the enemy kind of deal. And now it's almost like you're hitting the reset button. And the Whisperers are probably going to bring the zombie aspect much more into play. Because basically their spiel is to blend in with them. Got Rosita. Still no foil cards. We got a foil card in each of the one last time. Look at that. Back to back, the same card. And no difference between the two. A lot of repeats in this box. Maggie. Abraham. I definitely recommend going through the trouble of watching them. Seasons 4 and 5 are really intense. And Stephen Yeun, who plays Glenn Rhee. So Glenn Rhee relic caps off our Cryptozoics here. No serial numbered ones again. I was very intently watching this batch here. So again, you got a stack of base, and then your insert cards are about that much. Now we're going to move on to Evolution. So Topps picks up the licensing at this point. Well, it's advertised as 8 hits, but we've already hit 6. So there's going to be 10 hits in this break. So the bottom 2 spots are going to get an extra draw as we snake the extras on up. And now again, Evolution covers all of the first 6 seasons and the evolution of some of the characters in Walking Dead. Again, some just contribute to the evolution of the storyline, while other characters are very involved and evolve themselves. So there's some character, there's one character around for like one show or 2 shows, but they're responsible for an important event. Ooh, this is a major character. All right, I like this. Some people choose the base or the insert cards before some of the hits. Depends on what you're looking for. Especially some who have been in our breaks previously. They may have gotten the base cards before, and they're missing a few, and they're hoping that they can fill out their checklist, complete the set. Or the insert sets are a little tougher. You're not going to get a complete insert set necessarily out of a box. So it really depends. Do they have low number hit cards in these? We've pulled one of ones. We pulled a triple auto relic. It was probably the best card you could get out of a Season 5 box. I forget who was on it. I want to say it was Rick, Carl, and Lori, but I don't remember. Lori wasn't in Season 5, so it was probably somebody like Beth Green. It was like the three of the top characters you could have gotten. I think it was 2 males and a female, so I'll have to go back in history and look at that again. But it was a nice card. We pulled a 1 of 1 of just Chandler Riggs before. I don't remember if that was out of Evolution or out of the other set that covered. There's a set that covers seasons 1 through 7, so I can't remember which. Now in these, there is kind of like, I think, a bronze parallel that's not numbered. Yeah, this one. So if you look at the lettering, all right, you can see the difference. It's a little darker lettering, kind of like with the WWE cards, how they have that color variation. So those are actually in the inserts and parallel section. And there's Herschel, Jesus, who goes by the last name Rovia, so that there's no confusion with the Monroes from Alexandria. Rust, is that what it's called? Rust. It was Carl and Daryl? I don't know. Was that a guess, or do you remember? I don't think it was Carol. So, Daryl Dixon. Sasha's silencer rifle. You missed Dale too, right? Huh? You missed Dale? She misses Dale. Dale was a good guy. His disemboweling was unfortunate. There's Deanna Monroe. So, seemed like she had everything together, and then in walks Rick and his... Well, we won't say what Negan calls them. Yeah, but I think she was dead by season 5.
I realize now that I have been wrong.
So we got the governor and Andrea. That was one of the relationships. Lots of relationships figured out on the show here.
To see a buffalo. Since I have arrived at this post, I have been walking on eggs.
Governor's of Rust parallel. Terminus. And as you see, you got a little foreshadowing of where the boom comes from on that one card. Walker insert. Oh, that's what's his name? Milton. Michonne. Never mess with Michonne. The Green Family Farm. And all the friends hiding in the barn. Negan.
Why do you say that?
Why do I say it like what? Negan.
I like Negan.
You like him because he was on Grey's Anatomy.
I like him because he's good looking. How could you not like his dimples? He's only bad, he's still cute.
Negan's not my type. Carol blowing stuff up. What's that?
That's your type?
Carol's not exactly my type now.
So more so than Negan?
More so than Negan, yeah.
Is Michonne your type?
Michonne's not my type. I think I'd be frightened. That relationship ends, she'd want to take half. And she'd use the sword to do it, probably. There's Rick Grimes. Woodbury. It's a nice place. Abraham. And then we got Glenn and Nicholas. Jesse was convinced Glenn had died in this scene here where they're on top of the dumpster. I was like, that's not how it happens. But I didn't tell her. Jesse Anderson. There's Dwight. Or D. As he would develop into. There's the Hilltop. And Ross Marquand. 41 out of 99. So Aaron. Got an Aaron autograph. That's not too shabby. Well, was it season 5 where he really comes into play, right? I think. The end of season 5, maybe? I don't know. Four or 5. So, still got some packs to rip open in Evolution. We're looking for the Relic card now. The Topps box is not so generous. Don't expect any extra hits. That would be an anomaly in this. But again, I think it was from this set forward, you were guaranteed at least one of those hits to be an autograph. That way they could justify raising the wholesale price of the box. It's all good. So anyone looking for any Walking Dead talking points at the moment? You know, we're talking about low-numbered parallels. The other thing we didn't talk about, they're not hits, but we've also hit sketch cards out of these. So, some other one-of-ones that are possible. I just totally jinxed that, didn't I? It's like a reverse jinx. So the sketch cards count as parallels because they're not hits. But, you know, we were talking about, you know, the order that things are picked in. And the sketch cards make the insert and parallel part a little more desirable. Oh, maybe they are hits. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if we get an autograph in this mess. They've never counted as hits before, so I'm assuming they don't. It'll depend on if we get an autograph in here or not. I haven't seen one of these boxes come out with 2 autos before, so the specs could change as the sets develop. But instead of speculating, I just lost my iPad, so hold on a second.
No, she's hurt.
Okay, at least I can see comments from here now. Got a Walker insert. I really like what we're going to see in a few minutes. Got a nice hit coming up. Or a nice card coming up. There's Father Gabriel. Glenn Rhee. I guess it does count as a hit in Evolution. In other sets, we had gotten 2 hits and one of these. So I guess since no other hit came out, this will count as a hit. And that is pretty freaking cool right there. That is the Governor. So 1 auto and then the sketch card. And then it is signed by the artist, Jay Hammond. So the only other times we pulled these were in Season 5, and we had gotten 3 pulls out of the box. So I assumed it wasn't going to count, but I guess it is, because there's no autographs or relics to go along with that Aaron card. So the Governor 1 of 1 counts as a hit. And it is well done. So, I don't know who Jay Hammond is. I don't know if he works for Topps or if he works for... if he does the Walking Dead comics. Does anybody know? I'm going to assume it's just a Topps artist, but... So this is your stack of base. And this is your stack of inserts and parallels. So this is a little bit bigger because you do have those unnumbered parallels. And then again, these were the 2 pulls out of the box. So the sketch card will count as a hit in this one because there's not another one. And here we go. Season 8. So this is the latest release, I believe. There is one that's coming out next week, based on the last time I looked at release dates. Again, this thing gets pushed back all the time. It's not part 2 to this though. Apparently, it's more of a what was it, Hunters and Hunted or something like that. So when I read over some more of the info, we'll probably talk about it when we talk about previews on Sunday. Now in the Season 8, just to show you the difference in the parallel, little more noticeable. Pops a little bit more. The whole bordering of the card is going to be that rust color. So I got one hit in my hand here already. It's a pretty decent card, I think. Definitely one of the players. And it's thicker, so the assumption is it's going to be a relic. But it's going to be a fun relic. We'll have some fun with this. Again, this is the final box we'll be opening in this break. And unless James McMullen is in here, or we can get him in here, the draft will probably go to a draft post. So, again, trying to get the start times earlier for when we go live. But if we don't have enough spots in the break, then obviously that affects when we get started and can lead to issues such as not everybody being in here, or video people being available as well. But again, even though we are planning things out, we're also still just as flexible as before. And let's see what we got. Bleeding Out. Sorry, Aaron. We got Ultimatum. And Eugene, whose autograph we've already seen. Haven't had the best of luck with the Season 8 autographs yet. Maybe we'll have a big one this time. Rick versus Negan. Good rivalries card there. No Sympathy. Eugene looking like he was going rogue there. His Majesty. So, anybody who can control a live tiger, that's a guy you want to be friends with. Aces. Daryl Dixon. Walkers on the Hill. So there's Morgan, everybody's favorite character who can't decide how he feels anymore. We're supposed to. Again, he went from we saw him in the beginning as kind of more of a regular person at that point. And then the next time we bump into him, he's gotten a little crazy. And then he goes in search for the others. Killing machine, pacifist, killing machine again. Just wants to be away from everybody. Maggie versus Gregory. Well, we know in Season 9 who wins this rivalry, right? Even though she's no longer appearing in any of the Season 9 episodes. Simon. So, Shiva's sacrifice. Shiva being the tiger. No sanctuary. Got a Walker insert. Wrong pile. Got fake it till you make it. And dun, 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 dun. So we got a relic of Negan. Not much left to him in Season 9, though. He's just a shell of his former self at that point. Creating cover and Enid. Well, I guess she's kind of started her apprenticeship. So, are we going to end this with a bang? We have an autograph left as the final hit. Who will it be of? So, definitely a cool relic. I agree 100%. Question is, who will that final autograph be of? Dr. S was the first autograph we hit. We hit Eugene. We've hit Aaron. Who's autograph number 4 going to be of? You think it's going to be another Eugene? That might improve your chances. And he's obviously still around.
That's the lady that played Sharon in Major Crimes.
So still on the hunt for that last hit. Again, it's got to be an autograph because there's one autograph guaranteed in every Topps box. Otherwise, there's a form to fill out. I really hate filling out that form. I'm glad I don't have to do it very often.
Are you hungry? Are you hungry? Yeah.
Okay. This is interesting. Alright. It's possible it's slipped in there somewhere. Delusions of Grandeur. I think that's at the point where King Ezekiel's injured. Left behind. My brother, my sister. And there is a numbered parallel So surprise attack, numbered 40 out of 50. So again, that is a numbered parallel. A 4th. So that was their second negotiation. We all know how well things went after that for the garbage people. Maggie Ree. So not showing up on the cards as Maggie Green anymore. Now the Widow Ree. Thank you gift. Eugene versus Dwight. So, Delusions of Grandeur again. Diane. So, my brother, my sister. Many Sides of War. There's Negan. What a mess he is right there. A moment. Definitely a few Negan moments in Season 8. Busted. Tamiel. I think she was from Oceanside, right? Leaderless. Not one. As in not one injured. That would change not too long after he said that. One of those things where you just gotta watch what you say. Saviors. So I guess in Season 8, the autograph of an artist counts. As this card is signed by the artist Glenn Savage and is yet another 1 of 1. Not quite as cool as the Governor one. It's a Walker. But that is our second 1 of 1 of the night, and that's definitely not to be overlooked either. So a 1 of 1 sketch card. Glenn Savage, the artist on that one. Jerry. I like Jerry. Jerry's cool. Do you like Jerry? No comment? She's going to be watching Dances with Wolves till like 4 in the morning. So let's do a recap here of all the hits. I'll message James, but I don't think... At least I'll get the points done. I got a video guy for the points from last night's break. So here we go, hit recap. Let's start with the relic cards and work our way on up. So Negan, Season 8 relic. A Glen Rhee relic out of the Cryptozoic. We got 2 different Walker relics. This one's kind of a plain one. And if you look at this one, there's definitely some sort of a pattern design in that one. That would probably be the more desirable of those 2. We got a Terminus resident. I guess they like to wear plaid. I don't know. And then let's do our actor autographs. So we got Dr. S, Eugene, and Aaron, numbered to 99. So there's I guess a Rust parallel. Numbered to 99. And 2 1-of-1s. So the Governor out of the Evolution box. And a Walker as drawn by Glenn Savage. I'm assuming an artist for Topps. I'm going to look that name up. So it looks like we're going to have to go to a draft post. Here we go. I found Glenn Savage. So yeah, he is an artist for Topps Trading Cards who's created artwork for Star Wars, Stranger Things, and Walking Dead. So that's his job. He just works for Topps. He has previously created artwork for Image Comics, the American Heart Association, and Revolver Magazine. So, and I guess he was at Wizard World. I wonder when that was. Oh, they have one coming up now. November, the weekend of the Philly show, actually. I guess they move all around. So that's Madison, Wisconsin. There's a Ghostbusters Fan Fest, all this fun stuff you find out. Alright, so yeah, definitely I'll notify everybody as it's their turn to pick. Usually he gets back to us in the morning. So I'll get the draft post set up for that. Again, there's a couple extra hits. The sketch cards count as hits. So I guess the one time we got a sketch card in Walking Dead out of the Season 5 boxes, it just happened to be one of those once in a blue moons where there was an extra hit. So, alrighty. So does anybody have anything for me before we sign off? Again, looks like we've pretty much wrapped up here. Mission accomplished. Walking Dead ran tonight. And tomorrow WWE needs 5 spots. So we're in a good position where that should go hopefully on time tomorrow. So not that the 9 o'clock start time dictates when the break is going to be, but earlier rather than sooner works for me. So if we got nothing else, just hit me up on Messenger if you need anything. I'll try to get you back in the morning if I'm asleep. And we'll be ripping you a new one tomorrow. So have a good night, everybody, and take care.
Repent,